What's up, everybody? Huang Zero here, and today I'm joined by none other than human Ricky D's Ying, whatever you want to call him.
Well, hey guys, I'm here with Huang. Unfortunately, Zero's not here with us, but I'm here to talk about the top 16 list with Huang.
Yeah, so this is the first major BT9 event I believe we have in the English format, and the results are pretty interesting. Looking directly at the pie chart, we do see it is quite diverse, with Alphamon taking majority of the representation in top 16, but there is a lot, and of course, as you may know, D Reaper did win the entire event, which is super duper impressive, seeing as a lot of people pegged it pretty low on the tier list, including myself.
Yeah, I found it very interesting. He had a very solid build, and it was very coherent. He had his goal in mind. He aimed towards it and got it to work.
Yeah, so we're gonna go through all the top 16 lists. Ying and I are gonna give our thoughts about it, what we think the strengths are, maybe something we would change, just give it a little bit of analysis so you can see it from our perspectives and whatnot. So without any hesitation, let's get started. So right off the bat, we do have Shinegrey making its return into the BT9 format. I bet you guys were not ready to see this guy coming out. So with Jet Sophimon recently being hit to 1, a lot of people thought Yellow Hybrid would be dead. It looks like we do have adaptations coming forward, though, in the form of Rise Greymon and all of his brethren. Ying, do you have any thoughts about this list off the bat?
I found it very interesting. I was very shocked to see one be in top 16. I would see people play it. It is a fan favorite card in general, Shinegrey. In this case, with the addition of Rise Greymon X, it adds more abilities for you to have more tamers on board, which is the point of playing Shinegrey, tamer control.
Yeah, and so I think something that's really interesting is the adaptation of Sakuyamon. Sakuyamon being one of the strongest tools against OTK in this current format. For example, versus Metal Garurumon, if you have Sakuyamon on board, whether you hard slammed it, a Digivolved into it, whatever it may be, if they pull out their stack, they would lose all their security attack, thus making their OTK turn very non-existent. And then how do they remove it? Metal Garurumon X. It's not super great. So definitely very effective versus decks like Metal Garurumon. And then, of course, decks like Alphamon, if they don't have anything that is capable of dealing with that, if they don't have Doru Greymon effect online, or they don't have the Breath of the Gods effect online, then you could potentially pop them out. But of course, they might just have it, and so that could be really difficult to deal with. So do keep that in mind if you decide to play this deck. And I also do like the Sunrise Buster. That card is absolutely ridiculous. 5 cost for that much removal is super insane. Card probably should be hit, TBH, especially with Cross Wars in the future.
Yeah, because Sunrise Buster, it is a mini Shinegrey.
Yeah.
By mini, I mean just 1,000 DP less per tamer.
Right, but Sunrise Buster...
This case,
go on.
It's both yellow and red tamer, not just yellow.
Yeah, so I do want to point out that Sunrise Buster can only target a single target. So do keep that in mind. I think one thing I thought was really interesting was including the TK Kari. I'm really curious to know how many times this player was swung at throughout the tournament. Because, given the fact that we're in an OTK format, it feels like a lot of people are waiting until they have the combo set up before they want to start swinging at you, right? So how often are you resolving TK Kari? Is my biggest question. What do you think?
Honestly, you're right. I see it the same way. So the only way I see it being resolved early is a TK play and grabbing a Dexmon, as you can see in the list. So if you grab Dexmon, you do not recover, so you're at less security than your opponent. And another thing, going off of that, Tai and Kari requires you to be at 3 security or less for you to have the extra memory gain.
Well, so Tai and Kari also works if your opponent is at 3 or less memory as well. So it is a little bit more flexible in that aspect. So if you do get some chip off onto your opponent, I think it's pretty good. I think for the most part, though, because it works both ways, I would imagine Tai and Kari would be the stronger tamer choice over the TK Kari, especially enabling Sunrise Buster as well.
I agree.
Yeah, but I definitely do think there's some grounds to explore there. Also, TK Izzy. Being green does mean you can play powerful options such as Ground Fang, which is one of the newest green options we did receive in the BT9 format. That will go ahead and bot deck cards like the Oryukin if they are not protected by the Breath of the Gods. All right.
Yeah, it will catch people off guard for sure. Another thing to take off of this list, it is playing 4 Kazemon, so it's still hybrid heavy, so you can always be aggressive early on, which is the point of the original Rise Greymon, BT2 Rise Greymon, where you have 3 or more yellow tamers. It is a security attack +1. Given having a skill attack +1, you can have more aggression on your opponent, and then Kazemon hybrid for game.
All right. And so, moving on to the next list, we do have security control. Unfortunately, their egg choice is not on the site, but security control is actually a very interesting thing. So once again, we do notice that there is no Jet Sylphie shenanigans involved. This is very similar to the list that KVN previously topped with back in the EX2 format, as well as Russell, one of our friends who topped with security control as well at the Philadelphia Regionals in the EX2 format. The Avenge Kid Juno loop is really, really strong, and of course the adaptation with the Sakuyamon. Now, I do think that the coolest thing that this deck did adapt is the Kari Kamiya, the purple one specifically, because if your opponent tries to go for the OTK, you can forcibly take their memory and potentially pass their turn entirely, which can shut off a lot of decks such as the Metal Garurumon or even Alphamon, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Also, another thing about the Kari Kamiya, it looks like this player, he is teching for a delicate plan tech. So he's countering his counter, where delicate plan would stop his options from activating security. However, it does not stop tamers from being played. So the Kari Kamiya helps that in that regard. Same thing with the Mimi, so they cannot play delicate plan without passing turn because it'll cost more than 1.
Yeah, and I think another really, really great thing is if you've ever played this deck, sometimes you'll run out of purple sources, right? Just because Tamer removal, Black War Greymon, Nostimon, etc. So having additional purple sources is really, really nice, so that way you can keep casting your Flame Hell Scythe and your Chaos Degradations.
Yeah. I noticed what's different in this list compared to most security control lists I've seen is the Fly Bullet. What do you think about that?
So I think Fly Bullet is really interesting. I mean, let's think about it in terms of the meta, right? What decks does it hit? It hits GradisKuwaga. It does hit the WargX line. It does not hit Greymon, and it does not hit the Oryukin, assuming that they have the Dora Greymon up, which, knowing that deck, they probably do have the Dora Grey effect up. So being able to hit Melga as well as Grandis does feel pretty good, although I guess you have to ask yourself at that point, from a meta standpoint, do you expect to run into those decks more than the other two? Also, another deck it does hit, and I remembered as I was saying this, Imperialdramon. Imperialdramon is a deck that is gaining a lot of steam currently in the BT9 format because it has a really great matchup into a lot of the OTK decks. So Fly Bullet's also very good at hitting the Pyildramon when it goes through the double swing.
Yeah, so based on that, it looks like he's playing it because it hits more than not. He's hitting more decks that he's gonna play against than not play against.
Well, hold up. That's assuming he doesn't just run into a bunch of Alphamon, because I think
at that point it's just luck, right?
Yeah, I think it's really hard to predict what matchups you're gonna face. Honestly, I took Ancient Greymon OTK back in BT7 trying to play into yellow and blue hybrid, and then I ended up playing into black more than both yellow-blue hybrid combined across 2 tournaments. So yeah, sometimes it just happens sometimes.
Yeah, that's just very unlucky. Because also looking at NA format, like not even just recently, from the beginning until now, NA has been playing a lot of blue. In this case, Imperialdramon and Metal Garurumon X. Right.
So hopefully we do continue to see that trend, thus making the Fly Bullet pay out. Following up, we do have Speak of the Devil, Imperialdramon. Imperialdramon did not receive any new cards in the BT9 main set, but it did receive some cool upgrades from EX2, specifically Labramon, who will give you a memory if you swing with Jamming, aka the XVmon and whatnot, as well as the red plugin, which will make your Pyildramon deal an additional damage, so you can swing for 4 damage actually. And also, really, really strong card this format, Megadeth. Megadeth is very, very strong in this format.
Not just Megadeth, actually. Hammer Spark together
Yep.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hammer Spark does allow you to pass turn, giving you the start and stop their OTK. But yeah, like you said, Megadeth stopped everything. There's no counter to that.
Well,
besides,
Breath of the Gods.
Breath of the Gods.
And Greymon X. And Greymon X.
Yeah.
So,
it's really just Alphamon where you're afraid of Megadeth not being active. At the same time, though, Imperialdramon already have a good matchup into Alphamon because of how fast it is.
Yep. But I do like the Mimi adaptation, giving it a little bit more gas, as well as extra failsafe should the first initial stack get blown up.
Yes.
Alright, moving on. We do have Armors. Again, their eggs weren't posted, unfortunately, but still, we can, figure out more or less what's happening here. Armor is also another very interesting deck. So, with Armors, you do have potentially a lot of aggression coming out of that Fire Rocket. But more importantly, it's another Megadeth deck. And like we pointed out, Megadeth is very powerful in this format. As you can see here, the Armor player was playing for Megadeth. That's just spiteful at that point. That's just very spiteful.
Hey, I would too, honestly.
Yeah, right. And so, one thing that a lot of people did point out, the Armor players, is that they actually play 3 Flamedramon and not maxing out on that, specifically because they want their stacks to purge more out often, so that way they can Digivolve into another Armor and get the restand off the Ken Davis to add onto that additional aggression. You don't want your stuff to live, because if you notice, there is no Armor texture in this list, so there is no incentive for the Flamedramon to survive, assuming you're trying to hit the gas.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. That's why he's also playing for Ken and Davis.
Yep. All right, and then I do like, of course, the both Imperial and Armors running 4 jamming Vmon each. Really got to hit the gas pedal right off the gates.
Yeah, going along with that, like jamming Vmon. So if you have Fire Rocket on your Armor, Digimon, you have a jamming Vmon under it. That way, when you attack with it and it does die in security, it does Armor Purge into a jamming Vmon, which then jams into the next attack. After that, you Digivolve into your next Armor, swing for 2 more with the David.
No, it's just super strong. It's definitely a super strong combo. Alright, and then GradisKuwaga. Green is making its debut after, I guess the last green top was Green Hybrid, so that wasn't that too long ago actually, but this list is very interesting. We do see the adaptation with the Delicate Plant as well as Hero Amonikawa. I assume this person predicted a lot of security control-esque decks or Bellstar. So that works out well. They also do play the 2 Mimis, so that means they have a little bit of both worlds. But GradisKuwagamon's actually a pretty good deck. It's an OTK deck that doesn't require specific pieces from 5 and below. It only asks for the Grand Kuwaga as well as the GradisKuwagamon. So that is pretty nice.
Yeah. Another thing about Green is the ability to play Terriermon.
Yep.
So Terriermon being a memory stopper, every single deck you're gonna see now from since the cards came out, memory boost. Every single deck will play memory boost. It adds consistency. Terriermon says no, you cannot get your extra memory with it. Another thing about the Grandis or Green OTK in this case is the Okuwamons. Their effects to when their Okuwamon effect, all turns when this Digimon becomes suspended, lose 1 memory, given it to your opponent. It's lose memory, not gain. So memory stoppers do not stop it at all.
Okay, and then following up a little bit more, we do notice it does not run Kuwagamon or Kuwagamon X with Cool Boy. I personally don't like that engine myself. I do feel like you have a lot stronger payout using cards like the Weedmon, like the Arbor, even Kabuterimon overall. And I do like his egg choices. I think Yokomon is very good here because it allows your GradisKuwagamon to swing over the Oryuken, assuming that you do Digiburst it away, and it does mean Grand Kuwaga will swing for 13k in a worst case situation. One change I would like to see, though, is with Yellow Hybrid falling out of the meta because, Jet Sylphimon being hit, potentially there's not as much DP reduction, especially if you are running the ADP package. So do you really need the jamming Palmon? Because GradisKuwagamon himself swings for 16k. So I'm curious, how often was this player swinging with purely Grand Kuwagamon versus having the GradisKuwagamon to justify having that promo Palmon in the list?
Yeah, you're right. So regarding that, I can see that that's probably why he doesn't play 4 jamming Palmons. He prefers his Kukuhamon consistency, Terriermon stopping, and then the cheap Argomon play, which Green does. They want to play cards for cheap, so then you can go into memory choking or go into your level 4s for cheap.
Yeah, and then one adaptation I would predict to see in the future, totally not because I'm biased for this card or anything, but a starter deck Imperialdramon Sneemon. The security Digimon that when revealed from security, have it pop out and tap a Digimon, specifically because it is very, very, very excellent versus the MelgaX deck. Because you could tap their WarGarurumon promo and prevent it from getting another chip in, thus potentially screwing over their entire OTK. So I would like to see that card, only, not just because it's a good card, but also because I think it's a really cool card.
Another thing, so you see that his choice of hybrid is Arbormon here. I've seen many people
Metal Kabuterimon.
Yes. Just so you can have extra stack or extra cards to dig to find your pieces.
So, in your opinion, what do you prefer, Metal Kabu or Arbor?
Personally, I'll probably go with Metal Kabu.
Okay.
Because then you have both the option of go on top of your level 4 or on top of a tamer.
So, are you not worried about evolving over a 3 for 3 cost?
If it comes down to it, that's what you have to do.
Okay.
But like at that point, if you're gonna evolve over 3, you're losing a hybrid anyway. Digivolving for 2 with a hybrid on top anyway. It's no matter what, you're gonna lose a hybrid.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I don't really see that much of a difference, except if it passes turn.
Yeah.
It doesn't always pass turn, but it can. But as you can see, this person's playing 4 memory tamers, Mimi and Hero.
Yeah. All right. Moving on, we do have Gabumon or Garurumon X making its debut. This list does look fairly standard for the most part. I think the most interesting adaptation is the 3 EX1 Metal Garurumon. We'll talk about that in a second. But the strength of this deck is the fact that you have such a strong turn 3. Swinging your War Garurumon plus promo with the X-Antibody is 5 damage or even lethal at times. But there is no red package for the ADP, so security style of decks like Setcon, Shinegrey, that could be really scary. I don't know. Do you respect those style of decks, or are we balls to the walls mono blue? What do you think?
It looks like it's the balls to the walls in this case. But like going off of it, right? He's playing for the meta in this case. He's not afraid of those decks right now. He's playing because he's thinking he's going to see more blue. He's thinking he's going to see more alpha. He's thinking he's going to see more Grandis. So he wants to hurry up, get his piece. Just go. Just gas on the pedal. Like, just go.
And so, like we did mention, the 3 EX1 Metal Garurumon, I do think is very interesting. It is a card that has recently spiked in popularity, specifically because it enables you to go into your MelgaX for much cheaper. And that is one of your finishing combo plays. But 3 feels like a lot, because sometimes the card does brick in your hand. How do you feel about 3?
3, it's manageable, but definitely not 4.
Yeah, definitely not 4.
3 is manageable. Reason why, in this case, at least his specific list, you have Gabumon that can potentially search for 2 Omnimon and Garurumon name. The BT5 Gabumon to be exact. And then you have the EX2 Gabumon where when attacking...
You mean EX1?
EX1, sorry. You can add a tamer to your hand. And then you have the promo Garurumon. When attacking, if it has a Garurumon name, draw 1. So you're constantly attacking, unsuspend, draw 1, attack, unsuspend, draw. So at some point, you will hit that 12 card threshold where if you Digivolve Metal Garurumon, it is only 1 cost.
Yeah, and so, I'm putting it on screen just for reference so everyone can see it. So it is, when Digivolving, gain a memory for every 4 cards in your hand, and when attacking, if you have 8 or more cards in your hand, and a Tamer in play, return one of your opponent's Digimon that is on deletion, effect to the bottom of the owner's deck. Is there any significant cards in this format with on deletion? I can't think of any off my head.
Not really, because we're not seeing it, at least not here. there is potential, which is in Beostar.
Yeah. Okay.
All their Icemon scatter modes.
No, that's fair. That's very fair. Okay.
All their rookies will probably have on deletion because it's being brought up from the racing area, and Demimera gives it the on deletion.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Very fair. Moving on, we do have another Metal Garurumon X deck. Although this one is a tad bit different. We do see both lists were running the 3 of EX1 Metal Garurumon, but this one does run 2 Howling Crusher. Howling Crusher is, of course, a anti-Alphamon card, being able to strip majority of their sources, which would then render potentially their Oryukin useless. So Howling Crusher is a very interesting thing. But casting it from hand for 7 is quite dangerous, I feel like.
It is quite dangerous for sure. Right here, all I can see is he's just banking on having Howling Crusher in security, and if it's in hand, it's just 1 extra card that counts towards Metal Garurumon.
Hey, yeah, sometimes it'd be like that.
So, going off of what you said about Howling Crusher being really good against Alphamon,
Yeah.
there's another deck is super good against. Their Mirror Match.
That's fair. No, that's very fair. That is very fair. Hitting that in security versus the mirror is pretty huge, actually. You are right. One thing I did notice, though, is this Metal Garurumon list runs 0 Mem Boost, and this one only runs 1. It's, for a piece-reliant deck like Metal Garurumon, I feel like you would want to at least 3 memory boosts in these type of lists, no?
Yes. However, at the same time, the way I see it, at least the way the 2 people see it, they're getting the pieces from Garurumon, the promo Garurumon, where you get to draw the card. So just hoping you draw your cards, just get them faster by drawing rather than by searching. So you're not playing a card for 3 costs and then hope you get it. You're just attacking, being aggressive about it.
Seems a bit risque, don't you think?
Yes, it is more on the riskier side. However, in a format where you're constantly being OTK'd, having aggression isn't necessarily bad either. It puts your opponent on the clock.
Alright, that's fair. Alright, moving on. We do have WargX X, who has also made a top 16, top 8? Top 16 appearance. So this WargX X, this is the only WargX X that did make top 16, so there's not another list that we can compare it to. But I know there has been quite a lot of experimentation with this deck. We do see that this one it looks like it's a little bit more OTK focused, playing the 3 WargX X, as well as having a little bit of that Nokia to give you that kind of like cost reduction. Do you have any thoughts about this list right off the bat?
So the way I see it, the WargX BT9 WargX is there specifically for like the security control matchup or like Yellow Hybrid, but Yellow Hybrid is kind of non-existent right now, unfortunately. Yeah. And then Beostar. However, at the same time, when you have a Greymon X in your source, you're protected as well. Yeah. As long as you have double source. So it's definitely very OTK heavy. You have Greymon, start at Greymon, giving security attack +1. And then you have Metal Greymon X. If you have a Metal Greymon under it, it does give the extra +1 and 3k DP. Then BT1 WargX, another +1. That's +3 right there. And then you have a tie. Tie will give it +4. At that point, it is OTK. So hits all 5 and Blitz Omnimon for game. So one card I do think is really underlooked here is the Omnimon X. I think Omnimon X is such a powerful card this format, being able to stop most OTKs. The only thing that really would stop that would be Alphamon from BT9's Digivolve, because then you force them back onto the WarGreymon, and then you can get, you can do your thing. But with the Greymon X protection or the Alteris mode protection, Omnimon X is just an unmovable threat, because you can't run over it in battle, because it'll just stop you. It'll use the Omega Enforce and actually just cuck you out of your fight. Yeah, so that's why he's playing Omnimon X. It works extremely well together with WarGreymon X-Antibody. Yeah, where let's say you have a X-Antibody option within the Greymon Digivolution source, or at least WarGreymon. So you attack with WarGreymon and Digivolve into WarGreymon X for, I think, 1 cost, if it's on top of a Greymon? Yeah, it is 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's for 1 cost, which then hits for as much security as it possibly can, and then gains 1 memory for each security removed.
Yeah.
After that, you go into your X-Antibody for much cheaper, for 6, but like, you're not giving your opponent 6 memory versus giving them 3 memory.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see an increased ratio or an increased amount of Omnimon X going forward into the future, just from Wargreymon X decks in general, because I really do think that is such a powerful combo, especially for shutting out your opponent. But we'll see how the meta adapts. All right. Moving on, Magnamon. We're in top 8 territory now. Magnamon X, which, of course, the 4 Mega Death has once again made its appearance, as well as the 3 Flamedramon and the Fire Rocket as well. So, again, we're noticing some very similar trends here with the armor style of decks. Is that the 3 Flamedramon, the 4 Mega Death, and, of course, the emphasis on that Ken Davis with the Fire Rocket. I do think it's interesting that this list is only playing 3 Ken Davis and the other one did play 4. Do you think we need to see 4 Fire Rocket going forward, though? Do you think 3 is enough?
I do believe 3 is enough.
Okay.
3 would be your bare minimum. You can never go under 3.
Yeah.
You can do 4. However, in this case, from what I can see with his list, same as before, you want to be as aggressive as possible. However, I see this as being slightly slower than the other one.
Okay.
Main reason, this list is playing 4 blue memory boosts, while the other one is playing 1, but had 3 hammer sparks.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So this one, it's more of a setup. Prepare. You're being aggressive when you can early on, and then you play your blue memory boost to set up for a follow-up turn, while the other deck is playing immediate aggression, hammer spark, go for more, hammer spark, go for more.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually a really good point that you made, that this feels like it's more consistent for sure, right? The Mem Boost does give you additional searching power, but it is a little bit slower because that hammer spark is that immediate value for you to hit the gas pedal. So I do really like that difference you pointed out there. And then Alphamon has made his appearance finally. This is the first Alphamon deck we're looking at in top 8. Only 10 rookies, which I think is kind of the standard at this point for Alphamon decks. It does play 10 level 4s, but 2 of them are Ogremon, which very, very interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. And then we do have the 3 BT9 Alphamons with the 4 Oryus, 3 Oryukins, 2-2 on the Breath of the Gods Congo, 2 Mem Boosts, and then the 3-4 on the Tamers. But back to that really interesting point, Ogremon. I mean, is it to pop mem blockers? I imagine that's like the main reason. Like maybe we're missing something. Maybe it's like discard outlet for the BT9 Alphamon. But like, what are you thinking? What does the Ogremon strike you as?
Like you said, 2 reasons. Discard outlet, so you can discard your Oryumon, so you can go into Alphamon, attach an Oryumon. 2, memory blocker. Especially go against Mastimon. They do play as many Gazi as they can.
Yeah.
Pop your memory blocker. This is only if you don't have the Dex Doru Grey with a Doru Greymon under it, so you can pop level 4 and under. Because Alphamons, they have, or at least Alphamon this deck in general, has very limited out to memory blockers.
Yeah.
So that may be why he's playing Ogremon versus another X-Antibody card or a Grumblemon hybrid, or possibly even more rookies, supposedly. Yeah,
so that is one thing you did mention, is I'm a very big fan of Grumblemon for lethal. I think that comes up a lot in my testing. I know for Yu Ying it doesn't come up as often, but I do think that Grumblemon for lethal is something that we should all be aware of. Paul, if you ever watch this video, if you want to explain to us the Ogremon tech, I would love to hear what's going on here, man. Like, I'm really curious. What's the logic here? Because I do think it's interesting. I do think that one thing, could the Ogremon have been a Dexmon?
That is a possibility. Another thing, I see here, he's not playing any Kota.
Yeah.
I actually do like that. Kota is a slower card.
Yeah.
You don't really need it to win. Yuji and Kuboy is really all you need, because they give you all the memory that you require.
Yeah.
To pull your combo off.
So I do agree. I think Kota can be very slow at times, especially in the mirror, where you're just trying to see who gets to their top end quicker than the other player. So, cutting out Coda does give you a lot more room for other pieces. I do think that it is player preference, of course, because it's not like Coda's a bad card or anything. It's still a very good card. It's just definitely player preference. But in your experience, Ying, what do you think is the memory threshold for Alphamon decks? What is the peak? What's the key?
So, from my testing, at least from playing around, learning decks so far, if you only have one Yuji and no other tamer, the bare minimum memory that you require to pull off your combo is 2 to start.
Yeah.
With the ideal hand and ideal setup, so let's say if you have the Dorumon with a Dorugamon in your raising, and then one Yuji, all you need is 2 memory and the perfect hand, you can go all the way up to Oryuken.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on, we do have another Alphamon list making into top 8. This one is a lot different compared to the previous one, though. No Ogremon here. The spicy tech is, however, the Grademon, the one of. And Grademon, for those of you that don't know, because it's not a very common card, when Digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Alphamon in its name to your hand, and place 1 X-Antibody in its trait among them under this Digimon. And then end of attack, if this Digimon has Alpha in its name, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. I'm not sure how often Grademon actually does come up. I do think it's interesting. I would love to hear about it. Also, only 8 level 4. You are a brave person. You are a very brave person. And we do have the 2 BT6 Alpha, the 2 BT9 Alpha, the 3 Oryus, and the 3 Oryukens. 1/1 on the Breath of the Gods and Congo. And he does run the 2 Coda. He does run the 2 Coda. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
So this deck, he's focused on searching for pieces. In this case, Black Memory Boost, 2 of them, 2 Coda. You have 11 rookies instead of usual 10. So Ryudomon searches, Dorumon searches. The new Dorumon lets you draw more cards. So he's trying to find his piece rather than hope that he already has it.
Yeah.
He's just gonna get his piece from searching and drawing cards, so he can get his level 4, get his level 5, and just go off after that. So this deck looks more of a setup rather than I have my piece and then go.
So how do you feel about BT6 Alphamon? Because I personally have never been a fan of this card, even in BT8 where we did get the Oryumon, so no Oryuken yet. I still wasn't a fan of the card. How do you feel about it?
I like it.
Okay.
Also, don't like it at the same time. Like, it's just there are a lot of positives and negatives. Negative, unlike the new Alphamon, you can't refresh Oryumon. So if you have Oryumon trash, you can't get it back again. Only the new Alphamon can do that. But what I do like about it, if it is in security, it stops a lot and it goes to your hand.
Yeah, I agree. I think
they cannot delicate plan this. They cannot delicate plan Alphamon. So what is there to stop it? Nothing. So if it's hit in security and you have an X-Antibody on your battle area, it does stop all aggression from there, and then you go for the clapback. I
mean, this also works in the mirror as well. If they have X-Antibody on their board, this also does stop it. So I do think it's actually pretty good in that sake. I do think that is its primary use is primarily as a security bomb to just stop aggression, which I think is fine. But I do think that BT9 Alpha is kind of the star of the show here, alongside the Oryuken. That Digivolve goes pretty long way, right?
Yeah, it does go a very long way for sure, especially in the mirror match too. A lot of times when they have an Oryuken on board, they're removing their sources all the way down to the rookie being right under the Oryuken. So then when you Digivolve it once, it's deleted because it's an egg now.
Yeah. Alright. And then security control did make top 8. It is another Avenge Kid style of security control. This one is a bit different. No purple Kari to compared to the previous one. This one does run Salamon X. I do not believe the other one ran Salamon X. I could be mistaken. I am not mistaken. It does. So this one does run Salamon X. And no Sakuyamon in this list. So off the bat...
That's interesting.
Off the bat, I do I do wish we did see some Sakuyamon. I'm curious to know the logic as to why. Possibly because, this list didn't run Holy Flame. And this one did. Holy Flame might be the big difference here. Holy Flame is a very powerful security bomb, but we do notice that both do follow the Avenge Kit style of security control, running the... Wait a second. Wait just a second. There's no calling. They went with Darkness Wave. Interesting.
So Darkness Wave. Trash top 3 card of your deck, then if you have a yellow Digimon in play, return 1 yellow or purple card. So, it does work out. It's not terrible. Because in this case, you can use it for every yellow or purple Digimon.
Right.
Not just purple itself. The only difference is Darkness Wave only lets you grab 1, while Calling lets you grab 2 purple.
Well, also, Calling allows you to pop one of your Digimon, such as Magnamon, right?
Yes.
Which, it's actually pretty huge because you need that in your trash to Hell Scythe it back. But also, Darkness Wave mills the top 3, so potentially kind of scary in the deck out game.
Yeah, so that's not necessarily a bad thing because you're playing the Avenge Kidmon style. Your Avenge Kid will put your options back into your deck anyway.
Yeah.
So you'll make the Avenge Kid cheaper to play overall, and then you get to play your Magnamon, your Flame Hell Sites. Only thing I worry about Darkness Wave is building Tamers.
Yeah. So I also do want to point out that this list, as well as the other security control list, neither of them played a red top end to go alongside the Avenge Kid. So those of you that don't know, KVN originally piloted this list back in EX2, and this also saw some success in Japan. But they did run it alongside a red top end, such as the Gallantmon Crimson mode or the Bond of Bravery. So that slot may have just been taken up by the Dexmon, which is fine. I don't see anything wrong with that. But I do think that's interesting because those red cards gave you a lot of push power. They were able to end a lot of games at times. Crimson mode being able to burn security away, and of course Bond of Bravery threatening to pop stuff on the following.
Yeah. So in my personal list right now, I am playing Crimson.
Yeah.
But I might be biased because Crimson mode is one of my favorite Digimon.
It's a really cool card, yeah. So I think the last thing I do want to notice is the egg choice here. We didn't have the egg choice for this security control list, but we do have it for this one, and they did go for the 4 Upamon. So like we previously mentioned with the TK Kari point, how often are you getting chipped down to 3 security to get your egg off? Because
the way I see it, at least for security control, your opponent is waiting until they can OTK. However, because you're playing security control, right? You have a lot of options in security. So unless they're playing the full Adelke Pan package, it's very tough to get through all of your security control security without hitting into 1, 2, maybe even 3 options. Heck, maybe all the security is all options where they can remove a body on board, or Holy Flame stop attacks, Holy Wave recover again, constantly getting new cards.
So I think one adaptation I would like to see personally is swapping the egg out to Viximon or Keepimon. Viximon being draw 1 whenever you cast an option of 2 cost or higher. So that would that works fantastic with Hell Scythe and degradation and whatnot. But also, it doesn't rely on your opponent interacting with you. It doesn't rely on your security threshold. So that draw is pretty nice. And then Cupimon is, if your opponent just doesn't swing at you because you're playing Setcon, it's just free draws, more aggression. So I think those would be some really interesting adaptations I would like to see come out of the security control style of decks going forward.
Yeah. So, Jero, if you are watching this, please comment on why your choice is Upamon. It is something that we want to know. But from what I can tell, at least based on my own personal experience, it looks like you want to have your opponent be the aggressor and you being the response. You want to respond to their aggression. Yeah. In this case. All
right, and then Imperialdramon did make top 4. Like we said, very fantastic matchup into the OTK style meta. This list, it feels pretty standard for the most part. Again, we do notice high count of Megadeth. Megadeth is absolutely phenomenal in this format. Guys, if you're not on it already, play Megadeth. But we do notice only 2 jamming Vmon compared to the 4 that every other list was running. And we do have the Leomon making an appearance, which being the blocker if you have a Tamer up, as well as gaining memory on deletion.
Yeah. What do you think about this Leomon? I do like it. I personally like the Leomon. It can possibly stop aggression, and because it is a blocker and you get to gain 2 memory. It is a Hammer Spark on deletion.
So I think the deck that this primarily does the best against, it's definitely not Grandis. It's definitely not Grandis. Because you would literally just tap Leomon and can't block. It's not Oryukin, because Oryukin would just gain back the memory from the Leo pop.
Actually,
what?
Oryukin, they would de-digivolve it.
That's true. They would also just de-digivolve it. Yeah, that's also very true. I think this does pretty good into Wargarurumon promo specifically. Yes. As well as potentially Greymon X, because if they pop it, then you get that memory. Unless they're on Greymon X, in which case they'll get the memory back pretty soon afterward. But I do think those are 2 of the primary reasons you would play this card. I also think this card does have some utility versus security control style of decks like Bellstar and whatnot, because if they do remove it, you will get back some memory to increase the overall cost of their removal.
Yeah.
Alright.
The only thing that can really stop it are memory blockers.
Yeah.
And as you can see, he is playing Madoki Betamon.
Madoki Betamon, the watermelon himself, kind of go hard, bro.
Yeah,
Alright.
it stops memory boost, stops memory spark. It allows you to go for game, especially in mirror matches.
Yeah. Alright. In 3rd place, we do have another Alphamon list. This one is a lot more standard compared to the other 2 lists we have seen. No Grademon, no Ogremon. This is pretty bread and butter Alphamon, more or less. We do see the 1 Grumblemon making an appearance. Like I said before, I personally like 2, but definitely 1 is fine if you want to go about that route. And we are playing the 3-3-3 ratio on the top end. 1 Breath, 1 Congo, and he does play the 2 Coda. So this feels like kind of like a best of both worlds situation, right? He has a bit of a toolbox style of engine going on with the Grumble and whatnot, and he does run the Coda. So this feels like a combination of the other 2 lists, if you ask me.
It is. It's definitely more likely a combination of all the other lists. Coda allows you to search your pieces. You have your memory setter. He has Breath of the God, stops DP reduction and stop bouncing. Stops the Kakaitis. Kakaitis is one of your counters in this matchup, since Doru Greymon does not protect bouncing to hand.
Yeah.
Congo, this is your Mastamon counter. They cannot degradation it.
Also, if you play against a security control, they can't heal out of your lethal range threshold because of Congo. In 2nd place, Alphamon once again. I know that there's a little bit of controversy surrounding this player / deck in particular, but we're not here to focus on that. We are here to focus primarily on the deck list itself. So if you guys want to talk about that, I would say just take it elsewhere. Let's just focus on the cards itself, right? I think that's fair, Ying. What do you think?
Yeah. We're here to talk about the deck. We're not here to talk about any player or anything.
We're not here to talk about drama. If you want drama, go to a different channel. All right. So we do see the 2 Chumon adaptation, because of course memory memory boost is such a huge part of this format.
I like it. I really like it.
Okay. We do see the 2 BT6 Alphamon, which, again, we did talk about it being a really strong security bomb. Only 2 BT9 Alphamon and only 2 Oryukin. That one is pretty interesting, I think.
The thing about Oryukin is C1, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he's going for 2 versus 3, where 3 is sometimes you might see more than 1. Another thing, like, going off it, he's not playing any Coda. He's 4 Yuji, 4 Kuboi. That's it.
So playing a little bit of devil's advocate, sure, if you see 2 Alphamon Oryukins, one of them is dead, sure. But if you see 0 Oryukins, you're also just dead. So
that's why he's doing all these 4 Kuboi, 4 Yujis for the draws, Kubois for the switches.
I think the 2 Oryukin would make a tad more sense if it was accompanied by the Coda, unironically. Because he's kind of banking on... Oh, go on.
Yeah, you're right. It does make sense.
Because with the Coda, you're setting yourself up as well as preemptively digging for that Oryukin. Whereas here, you have to commit the pull out of raising to get that draw, which does mean you are putting yourself at risk, because if you don't top deck into that Oryukin, you are in a very bad situation, because that means you are no longer hiding and raising.
Yeah. So what do you think about this? This is very different from all the other Alphamon lists that we've seen so far.
Yeah, for sure.
Or Dexdorygreymon.
I think Dexdorygreymon, I don't know about you guys. I think this card is really good. I like that card a lot. Not only is it setting up a lot of your trash for the BT9 Alphamon, but also that pop is huge at just getting rid of these memory blockers like the Chumon, like the Madoki, Gazimon, etc. That pop is very, very powerful. Getting into that is really good. Not only that, but it's also a cool boy trigger. Alright, if you don't have the Dexdoruga to go into previously, the Dexdorygray is really important to get your cool boy value off. So I do think that's another way to look at it. I think 2 is like the minimum if you really feel like iffy about it. 3 is probably fine. I think 3 is like probably a safe point. 4 is like, I'm popping your memory blocker. You can't stop me. Like try me, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, looking at all these lists, I might do this. I might do a change myself to my list and put in a second BT6 Alphamon.
Really? You're going down this route? Alright.
Like the BT6 Alphamon, it's really good for the mirror match specifically, where they can't OTK you and you can counter back.
So what is, no. I know obviously you don't have a calculator on you right now, unless you're that type of Asian. Who knows? What
I got my brain.
Okay. We got half a brain, so I'll let you borrow the other half. What is the chances that BT6 Alphamon ends up in your security though, in the first 5? What are the actual
Honestly,
odds?
Very, very slim.
Yeah, right.
At the same time, that small chance is the difference maker in why you win or lose as well.
So this all comes down to how you are as a player. Do you potentially have that blowout in your security, or would you rather invest those slots into your BT9 Alpha, into your Oryukin, to increase the consistency of your deck, right? So these are the things that you have to ask yourself as a player. That's what makes Digimon deck building so interesting. Because there's never just one approach to deck building. There's always multiple approaches that you can look at the game at. And I think that's beautiful. That's amazing in a card game.
Yeah, there's no one set number 1 deck.
Yeah. Alright, and then finally, first place, Luca with D-Reaper of all things. Alright. So
you can't say of all things now. D-Reaper is actually pretty good.
Alright. So real quick, before we dive into the meat and bones of this, I do want to say, first off, congratulations to Luca. Absolutely stellar performance. Like I said, I know a lot of people, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the finals and how it ended out. But just remember, this person went the entire however many rounds, and he won it all up to the finals. So regardless, at worst, he was second place, y'all. This person deserves this, all right?
Yeah, this deserves all the credit.
100%.
All the recognition that this went through.
No, like, it's a smart list. It's a good list. It makes sense. It's very coherent. I like it a lot. Don't discredit this person. Do not discredit this list. If you do, I will tussle with you personally. All right. Ying and I, I'm 5'4", he's like 5'2". We'll gang up on you. It's fine.
We'll tussle in the comments.
Right in the kneecaps, bro. We're like kneecap height, you know. All right, but getting into the deck list itself, this list did see a little bit of popping up here and there in Japan, but it never saw success until now. English format strikes again with the crackheadedness that is this beauty. So the entire concept of D-Reaper, as you may know, is you want to set up your mother D-Reaper, and you want to get to the point where you have so many sources, 7 searchers in particular, you get to call out your Reaper. But one of the other strongest points about D-Reaper is A, the cost reduction. For every source underneath mother, once per turn you can reduce the cost of one of your Reapers. Not Reapers, but one of your, D-Reapers. And 2, Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper is a dumb card, very dumb card. Gatekeeper being able to just completely reduces the amount of security attack your opponent has. It heals, it comes out of security. It literally just does everything. It might as well just wash your laundry, wash your car, walk your dog, it does everything. So
don't forget, he can also feed you.
True. So the biggest thing and why this works, what makes D Reaper more successful now than it was in EX2 during its original debut, is this. It's the X-Antibody.
Yes. So I'll go take over from here.
Okay.
X-Antibody option. You can play it and attach it to one of your Digimons as their sources. In this case, you put it under Mother D Reaper. By doing that, you're essentially turning Gatekeeper on 1 turn faster. Being 1 turn faster makes all the difference in the OTK format, where you want to be as quick as you can. So, as soon as you get to 6, Gatekeeper's online. Your opponent now has -1 security check on all their Digimon.
Yep.
That's very unlikely for them to OTK you now.
Yeah, definitely. That is a very, very smart adaptation. Not only are you accelerating the mother's cost reduction, you are accelerating how fast you get Gatekeeper online. And it's not once per turn. It is not once per stack. You can put 3 of these things under your Mother D Reaper, and that is absolutely huge. So it's not a dead card in hand.
Hold on now.
What's up? What is up?
You can only put 1 under Mother D Reaper.
Can you?
Yes.
Really?
The security effect. Not security effect. The car.
Oh, you're right. Okay, it can only have 1. I'm a liar. It can only have 1. So if you draw it to any more, it's a dead card. But like, whatever, it's fine.
But like, you're playing multiples of the deck a card because you want to see it.
Yeah.
As soon as you see it, that is essentially 1 extra searcher, but that's not a searcher.
Yeah. My apologies, by the way. My apologies. Reading is hard. But yes, Ying is correct. You can only put the 1 underneath the Mother D Reaper, but still, it is very, very good at accelerating your plays. And I do like the Dexmon. I do like the Starmon. Having ways to, pop your opponent's board is very useful. Starmon pops cards like the Psychmon that would, stop you from cost reducing your stuff. And Dexmon, while we are in a, not even semi, we are in an OTK format. Tamers are still being thrown around like crazy, so you can still get a lot of reduction on that Dexmon value, which I think is really, really fantastic. But yeah, this is a very, very great list. Reducing the cost of Jerry, your bubbles, your feet, is really good, because that means you're even further accelerating your Mother D Reaper to get to that Reaper win con. So overall, congratulations to Luca. Absolutely fantastic performance.
For sure. Luca did a fantastic job, did what he needed. He made this deck where... And he understood it. He understood what he needed to do, and he made it happen.
Yeah. All right, so that is all 16 decks that did make, top cut at the Otakon Regionals. This video will not only be on my channel, it'll also be on Ying's channel, most likely. So if you guys have anything you want to say, please feel free to drop that in the comments down below. Sub to both our channels because we're both pretty cool. Bandai, if you're watching this, ayo, Ying and Huang for Nats, am I right? Like, come on, this was like some real good commentary, if I must say so myself. But
yep, yeah. It's 2 halves of a brain makes 1 whole.
True, facts. Single brain cell working right here. But yeah, so thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the style of analysis. I know this is 52 minutes long. I don't know if you realize that, Ying. We went almost an hour.
I did not realize.
Yeah, we went a long ass time. But regardless, thank you all so much for watching. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. Ying, anything on your end?
Nope. Just thank you for watching, and hope you enjoy, and be ready for some more in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Take it easy, everyone. Peace.
See you.